welcome back to Get Social with Yatra. I'm so excited for today's episode because we are checking in a new brand niche called hospitality marketing. We all know the feeling of a perfect hotel stay or a great meal. So, how do you actually translate the physical vibe to a digital strategy that drives real bookings? To help us pull back the curtain, I am joined by an expert in the field, Joanna Snow. So, hi, Joanna. Thank you for joining me. And as we are connecting for the first time, we would start with knowing a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. Well, my name is Johanna. I've been working in marketing for the past 10 years. It's my favorite thing in the world. It's just so different and diverse. And I just think I've been really lucky throughout my career to, be able to be in all different types of marketing. And personally, I'm from Colorado. I moved to Boston about 4 years ago, and I love it here. I love the history. I love the seafood, and the weather has left a little to be desired this year. But but other than that, but yeah, I live with my fiance and his 12-year-old and my cat in Somerville, and yeah, just I love exploring.
Wow, love it. I know about Colorado because few of my friends are from Colorado and they always talk about Aspen, and I'm like, I have
Oh,
to
yes.
visit that place one day. But I like Boston a little bit, not much because of the cold, of course, but
Yeah. No, Colorado is great. Aspen is beautiful. It's probably the fanciest city
a lot
in
of
or town.
celebrity, yeah, a lot of
Yeah, a
celebrity.
lot of celebrities. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool mountain towns and all kinds of really fun stuff all over Colorado. It's a great spot.
Wow. Okay, so as we are diving deep into hospitality marketing, so I have a few
Mhm.
questions for you. And the first one would be, how would you translate a physical feeling or a hotel of a rest or a restaurant into a digital strategy?
For me, I think hospitality marketing is a little bit newer to me. But I think one thing that holds true with all marketing is like, just really putting yourself in the customer's shoes, like what matters to them. Like, if it's a fine dining experience, is that like, sorry, there's a guy like singing when I'm doing it. Um, but is it, if it's a hotel, like, who's your primary audience? Like, are you looking to get families there? Do you want to show them how easy it is for them to come there and relax with all of their kids? Or, is it maybe a more exclusive, like adults only kind of vibe? And then, you maybe want to showcase that luxury or that, again, that relaxation. But I think in any type of marketing, I think it's just really important to get inside the mind of your consumer and really go after what they're looking for. And I think, doing that research, because every hotel, every restaurant is different, and then just really positioning yourself so you are an appealing option for those people that you want to come in.
Right, right. I have never worked with any restaurant or hotel yet in my career.
Yeah.
So thank you. So what are the best social media platforms for hospitality marketing, like for restaurants and stuff?
Again, I think it really depends on your demographic. And like, I would say, if your clientele are like skewing a little bit older, like I would say if it's fine dining people, maybe have a little bit higher income or more disposable income, I would say, Facebook, is a great way to reach, like older people. I think Instagram is also a great place because I think Instagram still is a place that you can really highlight like beautiful food pictures
Mhm.
and things like that. And people want to see the plates. And I also think TikTok. I mean, my entire TikTok is full of restaurants feeds, and I've seen a really big surge in the past 2 years of like influencer marketing. I think that's probably the key for most restaurants because I've just really noticed like a huge uptick in that and like influencers going into a restaurant and, talking about their experience and highlighting the dishes. And I think that's probably going to be the way of the future because, again, people want to see themselves in that situation. And, just having somebody like a real life person, for lack of a better word, I think is a really big driver for restaurants. And I think it works well for some restaurants compared to others, but I definitely have seen a lot of restaurants have success with that
Mm.
in their marketing campaigns.
Yeah, because I think influencer marketing is like in the top tier more than reviews. I mean, people rely on
Hmm.
reviews, but if they see a video of someone going there and trying the dishes, I think that matters the most, probably. So,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think sometimes, you can read reviews, and I think reviews are still important, especially like, if you want to be found on Google and things like that. I think it all contributes to that, helping your ranking and things like that in Google. But I think I agree with you. I think sometimes people, they go and maybe they're in a bad mood and, they didn't like something, they'll write this kind of bad review that
yeah,
isn't maybe really warranted. But yeah, I agree. I think I personally love these trends too. I love watching people go to these restaurants and you kind of get an idea of the decor and like, just sort of their experience from start to finish.
absolutely. So I never really worked on TikTok that much because in India, TikTok was like banned since
Mm,
before. So we did not really get a chance to work on TikTok. But now that I'm diving deep into TikTok as well, I think it's a great platform with Instagram.
hmm.
So one more
Yeah.
question when we're talking about Instagram, it's like, is Instagrammable a real thing now, or is it just fading away? Like, what do you think about that? Like the
Um,
feed and stuff like that.
I think it's still here to stay. I think like one thing that I've learned throughout my career, and I don't know if you've heard this from the professors at Northeastern too, but it was one of my favorite things. It's like don't build your house on rented sand or rented land. It's something like that. It's not rented sand because that doesn't make sense, but it's like don't build your house on the sand. And basically the analogy means that like don't put all of your marketing eggs in one basket. Don't just only rely on Instagram. Like don't only rely on Facebook because that was one of the examples we learned about is this business basically went under because the only thing that they used for advertising was Facebook ads and then they completely changed the algorithm and their ads weren't showing up and so I think with just the volatility of social media, you can never. There's really no guarantees. I mean, if you were talking to me 6 years ago about Twitter, I wouldn't think. I mean, Twitter's like basically gone now. I mean, people don't advertise. But I think with TikTok, I think there's a lot of uncertainty with TikTok and what's happening with its regulations and if it's being acquired, but like through American companies and like everything that's going on there. But I mean, I think even with some of the accounts I'm working on now, we have much higher engagement on Instagram than we do on TikTok. So I think it's important to put as much effort towards all of them. Like if you're going to be posting a video, post it on TikTok, post it on Reels, and do all the things because it could change in a second. And I think there's still a lot up in the air with TikTok about like what its future looks like. So I think it's smart to just sort of spread and diversify as much as possible.
Just not rely on just one social media platform and just do it
Hmm.
everything, experiment basically. Okay.
Hmm.
So one more
Hmm.
question. So I know about this question and I think this has to be like put out more. So can a bad review be turned into a marketing win? Like people just get so anxious when they get a bad review. So can we turn that bad review into a marketing win? What do you think?
Absolutely. I think absolutely. I feel pretty strongly about that. I think a lot of my past experience was managing our reviews and responding to them. And I think it absolutely just depends on how you respond to it. Because I think there are ways that you, as the business owner or whoever is responding to the reviews, can respond that shows that you care, that shows maybe, because the customer isn't necessarily always right either, and I don't know if to, but I think sometimes people are wrong. And I think there's
Yeah.
kind ways that you can say, hey, actually, from our perspective, this is what actually, we tried to do this, this, and this. But I think it is important not to be argumentative. I did work with a client one time that if he got bad reviews, he would basically go online and argue with the people. And
Yeah,
that I
that
don't
happens a
recommend
lot. Yeah.
that. Don't do that. But
Absolutely.
I definitely think, I mean, for me, I'm so sorry. A huge group
It's
just walked in
fine.
right behind me. Let me just go. I'm just gonna walk right over here really quick. But I think again, it just really depends on like how you respond to it. And I think there's ways you can absolutely respond with empathy and being
Little
professional and
kindness.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah. And I think what kills the business is when people respond and like start yelling and like that's not true and I didn't do that and this and this and this. So yeah, I don't think that bad reviews can kill a business or like completely make it go away. I think how you respond to it is the bigger,
Matter.
more important thing.
Absolutely. So, what do you think about AI in marketing?
Um, I it's interesting. I have a lot of thoughts because I think that AI and marketing, I mean, for me, I like to look at it like my marketing intern. Like it helps me like just now, I just needed some like ideas for how to start a social media post, but I'm the one writing it. Like it kind of spit out this thing. I was like, that's okay, that's a good start. So I think it's just really important like to use it as a tool to help and to, make you more productive, but don't ever rely on it to do all the work for you. And I think, especially with like the younger generations, people are craving like that genuine human connection. And I think people can see through AI. And I think that's absolutely hurt
Absolutely. Yeah,
businesses when businesses have posted something and it's clear that it's AI, like people come for that. So,
absolutely.
but
I
yeah, I say, yeah, if you need help starting an email or, if you're sending an e-blast, if you're like, I need ideas for an email or, things like that, like using it for things like that, I think are great, but never having it write your entire email or
Mhm.
write your entire social media post. But I do think it's helpful and it can make you more productive, but just not
A
to
little
rely on
bit.
it.
Right.
Mhm.
Totally agree. So this is like a little out of context question. So few of my friends, they are, into hospitality industry and they are into managing and, chef line or something like that. But they just realize later that their heart is probably into, content and how to make the hospitality content and stuff like that. So is it possible that they can pivot into hospitality marketing? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you can pivot into anything you want to, if you have that drive and that passion. And I would say that, it is really like working on, or finding ways you can plug in. Like, I mean, I think if you just went up to someone, you're like, I want to do the content now, like that's maybe not the best strategy. But if, let's say you're in the kitchen and you're like, oh my gosh, like, and you started just grabbing some reels and things like that, or, just ways you can get your foot in the door. I think showing that initiative is huge and, just important for anybody.
Right, absolutely. I always tell them that you go for it, if you have
Yeah, go
it.
for it. Yeah. And I would say like, yeah, don't go in and just be like, this is, I want to do this, but, find ways you can and build yourself a path. And, it's really all up to you.
Absolutely. So, what is that one unspoken rule one needs to know about the success in this industry in marketing?
I think for me, it's just being adaptable. I know I talked about this a little bit with social media, but I think all of marketing
Mhm.
changes so much. I mean, the things I was doing 10 years ago compared to what I'm doing now, a lot of it's the same, but a lot of it's very different and the strategies are different. So I think just staying curious and always learning. I know, like reading, I following podcasts or different like marketing feeds and looking at trends, I think is just really, really important. And again, I also think knowing how to do a lot of things is good. Like I try to steer people away from just focusing on one very niche area of marketing because I think that could be, like I hate to say, somebody that can only code, now with AI, they might need to like diversify that a little bit, but I think it is just always looking at ways you can diversify your portfolio.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That quite answers most of my questions for today. And that was very eye-opening conversation. And I would love to work in hospitality marketing. I would surely, because it's so interesting. I mean, whenever
Mhm.
I told you about my friend's restaurant, whenever they just like make something new and there's a team who just shoots all of that, and it's just so
Mhm.
interesting.
I
So
know it's
I'm
it's so fun. I love it. I'm over here making content about food. I'm like, I love food and marketing. It's like
it's a perfect combination.
it's perfect. Everybody loves food. It brings people together, it
It
builds
does.
community. It's yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Joanna. Thank you for doing this with me today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Sorry it was not the
No,
quietest
it's
atmosphere
fine.
I envisioned, but
It
but
was
no,
great.
thank
It's a
you.
great conversation.
I
Thank
really appreciate your time and your flexibility. And it was so lovely to meet you.
Thank you. You too. See you soon.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye.